everyone, it's Sharona from Pay or Wait, and today I'm going to be reviewing Mortal Kombat, which hits theaters and HBO Max this Friday in the US. It's already available to see in theaters overseas, but this time around this film stars Louis Tan, Mekhi Brooks, Josh Lawson, Jessica McNamee, Joe Taslim, as this film centers around MMA fighter Cole Young, who seeks out Earth's greatest champions in order to stand against the enemies of the outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. So for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome, hello, so glad you came, I hope you stay. I'll tell you what I enjoyed about the film, what I didn't like about the film, and is it worth your time spending your coins to see Mortal Kombat in theaters and also too on HBO Max this Friday. So going into what did I enjoy about Mortal Kombat? Look, hands down, the best part of this movie is getting to witness the origin story of the beef between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Joe Taslim, who plays Sub-Zero, and Hiroyuki Sanada, who plays Scorpion, are absolutely fantastic. The opening sequence that takes place as we get a little insider's view into the beef that they had. It just literally set the bar so high throughout the course of the film that at times I was just like, I don't know if you're going to be able to top this because you started the movie off on such a high note. And what I love about this is if you compare it to the Mortal Kombat back in the 90s, you know, I felt like they did us a disservice with those characters, especially because they were like, oh, they were sworn enemies, but now they work for me. No, I wanted to see them go at their throats. But I am happy to say that in this film, they get the origin story done right. And that's another plus, kind of seeing more true to some of the backstories of some of these characters that we come in contact with in Mortal Kombat. But the fight scenes between these two is off the charts. It's dope as hell. Joe Taslim is Sub-Zero. He is bad as hell as a villain throughout the course of this film. I just wanted to see more and more of him, and most importantly, Scorpion, but I'll get into a little bit of that in the cons section. But I do want to say from an effects standpoint, especially with these two characters, I just felt blessed, okay? Because after revisiting Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat Annihilation, a movie that we should not speak of, in my mind, it has not existed, but I'm going to have to talk about it for the sake of this review. I felt as though that the effects that these characters have, just with these two alone, it was so much worth the wait seeing this being rebooted now where we have the technology to really give the fans the effects that they deserve, these characters the effects that they deserve, to really see how badass they are. But can I talk about Kung Lao for a moment? Because Kung Lao was giving me a little something. I was just like, put Kung Lao back on this. For those of you who played video games, the use of his hats, I'm not going to spoil anything, but they were serving it to me. I was feeling it, especially with the interest that we see with Kung Lao. Now also too, I just have to have a moment for justice for Jax. Now in this movie that shouldn't be named, but we have to name it for the sake of this review, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, they did my man Jax so dang on dirty. It burned my spirit, okay? Because he felt like a caricature in that film. And I have to say, I want to give props to Mekhi Brooks, who does such a fantastic job of bringing Jax to life. It really makes you care about the character, unlike in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Now, for my Fall from Grace fans, look, when he was talking, all I was hearing was ashtray, you know what? I couldn't help it, but that's all I was hearing because he was kind of talking in that voice. But I do want to give props to Mekhi Brooks because I thought he did a really fantastic job with Jax, making me care even more about this character that I grew up playing with on the video games. And I suck at video games, so don't think that I'm like some hardcore video game person. I play them and I suck at them. I just want to set the record straight. But for those of you who care about the blood and fight scenes, because y'all like, look, Sharona, I don't care about nothing else. I just want to know, am I going to see some fatalities? Am I going to see blood, gore? Yes, you are, and I was totally here for it. I think it has a very nice, decent level of blood and gore as we get into some of these fight sequences, especially with the use of the powers as well. But I just want to let fans know that you're definitely going to be in for a treat. It also does a lot of fan service, key taglines from the game, references. I think that a lot of fans of the games, a lot of fans of the previous movies, they will be very, very much pleased with this version of Mortal Kombat. And also too, just going back to, you know, the backstory between Sub-Zero and Scorpion, staying true to some of these hardcore backstories for these characters. Not to say that some things haven't changed, but for the most part, I felt pretty good about it. Now, even though I have so much that I did enjoy about it, I do have some issues with the film. So let's go ahead and talk about it, because every film is not perfect, all right? So going into what I didn't like about this film, Okay. Raiden Shenzhen, I'm sure I said the name wrong. Just charge it to my mind, not my heart. But I didn't care for them. They were not giving me the 90s energy that I had from their predecessors in the previous films. It just didn't hit for me. They tried to look the part, but I just didn't feel the part for both of these characters. And I really hope that if we get more films, and I do want more films, that they add a little bit more meat to it, add a little bit more cheese to it, like fully commit to the craziness of both of these characters. Now also too, I wanted a little bit more of Jax. Even though I love Mehcad Brooks, he kind of disappears for a little bit. I was just like, wait a minute, but I like this Jax. Put him back on screen. I felt as though that Jax he deserved a lot more screen time than what was given in the film. That could just be my personal opinion. I could be like, Sharon, we don't care about Jax. But I care because Mehcad made me care about his character in this film. But also too, it's the lack of Sub-Zero and Scorpion for me, honey. Like I said, they were the best parts of this film. Their opening and ending sequences is just so off the charts, so amazing that you were just like, so you had these two bomb-ass characters and you didn't use them throughout the course of the film. Now you do get a lot more Sub-Zero than Scorpion, but I do feel that the film overall was done a little bit of a disservice not using Hiroyuki Sanada more as Scorpion. Also too, it's the story for me. Let's talk about this story. Now with the previous films, you become very invested in the characters. You become invested in Liu Kang. You become invested in the backstory, what he's fighting for, what he's striving to try to right these wrongs in his past, especially with his brother. But I just didn't feel that in this film. And you really see this stick out when it comes to Lewis Tan's character as Cole. Cole is a new character they added. I believe the character is going to be added to the video game, but they didn't do enough to make me want to root for him. But most importantly, to center Cole Young as the lead to the story. Now in previous films, we're used to Liu Kang basically taking on that mantle, but they changed things up a little bit. And I don't want to say that that's on Lewis Tan. I think he's a really fantastic actor. He has charisma. He has the screen presence to make me want to watch him on screen. I just truly believe from a writing standpoint, they didn't add enough meat to this character to fully flesh him out in order to make you care about him, in order to make you feel like he is the main character of this film. And that's really for all of our champions from Earth in this film. I felt as though that they just, it was like, I know I'm supposed to root for you guys, but I'm not 100% there. And I really blame that on the writing. And most importantly, I think that the film was too busy trying to set up a new universe for Mortal Kombat to introduce new films, which is a huge issue that I see with a lot of franchises today. They focus so much on trying to set up for future films instead of focusing on the film that we have here. You have to sell the audience with this first film. And I think that they did a good job of making you want to get to a second or a third Mortal Kombat. But from a story standpoint, it's very weak in this film. Now, even though I have some issues, overall, I did have a great time with Mortal Kombat. I was here for Scorpion and Sub-Zero. They gave me my entire life. They made me want to keep watching for the few moments that they are on screen. But overall, for me, I had a great time. So what would I tell you to do with you and your coins for Mortal Kombat? I would tell you to pay to see this in theaters if you feel comfortable, because that's your business. And also too, paying that money for HBO Max to see it on streaming, I definitely think it's worth it. I think fans will have a great time watching it. I think everyone will be excited for more films. And I really think with just a couple of tweaks, they have such a good franchise on their hands. They have to keep making movies. But most importantly, give me the Scorpion and Sub-Zero prequel that we all know and deserve. Thank you very much. But those are my thoughts on Mortal Kombat. As always, my name is Sharonda from Payroll Waits. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. And until I see you again, bye.